Shane Harris. And those of you who are watching now and listening now on Facebook and YouTube, thank you for tuning in another week. It's good to be back here in the studio on Friday, June 1st. Today is the 1st of June. It's the real official kickoff of summer for those of y'all out there trying to keep it hot. And we are live here on Get On Up with Reverend Shane Harris. It's good to be back in the studio. I've been out for the last week or so, and it's good to be back here with you and talking with you about all of the things that we need to pay attention to and all of the things that we need to really strategize around. And I am very thankful for our production team here at KTAV for keeping the fire going on air. Many of us are really getting involved and getting engaged in many things. And you know, we've got to, as I begin my show this morning, we've got to really stay woke. We've got to really stay up. But if you wake up, you can't just walk around. You can't just slouch around. You need to think about, what am I supposed to be doing? Where am I supposed to be going? And how am I supposed to be? And that is what I want to begin the show today. What are you supposed to be doing? What is your purpose in life? What is your mission? And where are you supposed to be going? Are you woke, or are you just waking up? Are you up after you wake up, or are you just sitting around waiting for somebody to come rescue you? You know, the mothers of the churches used to tell me that you ought to wait till Jesus come to get you. Well, some of y'all think that you ain't got to do nothing for Jesus to come get you. But you have to do something. It's a partnership. And that is what it is about. So what are you doing? What's your mission? What's your purpose? As we begin this show, we're going to go on a quick break. When we get back, I'm going right to Amos Jones, our political analyst. We go right into conversations about what we saw from Roseanne on ABC all the way to the Trump administration now trying to make amends with North Korea and the summit that was to be held with President Trump, all the way to MSNBC's town hall on racial bias. We're going to be right back. When we get back, we're going to talk about all this and more. See you soon.
You are listening to the San Diego station of inspiration. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. KTAV Radio. For more information on how you can advertise your business, event, or services, please visit us online at KTAV.TV or call 619-246-6131. We are also offering 30 and 60-minute time slots for your ministry or podcast. For more information on how you can become a part of KTAV Station of Inspiration lineup, please call 619-246-6131 or visit us online at ktav.tv/ministry.
Hey everybody, this is Reverend Shane Harris. Every Friday I hold a live radio show at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.ktav.tv. The show is called Get On Up with Reverend Shane Harris, and we discuss all of the country's issues, from Washington, D.C. to your local community, social dialogue, political impact, and strategy talk. For all of our communities to realize that we don't have have to get down. We got to get up and know what we doing. So it's strategy time. Every Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Get On Up with Reverend Shane Harris on KTAV.TV.
You are listening to the San Diego station of inspiration. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. KTAV Radio. For more information on how you can advertise your business, event, or services, please visit us online at KTAV.TV or call 619-246-6131. We are also offering 30 and 60-minute time slots for your ministry or podcast. For more information on how you can become a part of KTAV Station of Inspiration lineup, please call 619-246-6131 or visit us online at ktav.tv/ministry.
Hey everybody, this is Reverend Shane Harris. Every Friday I hold a live radio show at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.ktav.tv. The show is called Get On Up with Reverend Shane Harris, and we discuss all of the country's issues. From Washington, D.C. to your local community, social dialogue, political impact, and strategy talk. For all of our communities to realize that we don't have to get down. We got to get up and know what we doing. So it's strategy time. Every Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Get On Up with Reverend Shane Harris on KTAV.TV.
You are listening to the San Diego station of inspiration. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. KTAV Radio. For more information on how you can advertise your business, event, or services, please visit us online at ktav.tv or call 619-246-6131. We are also offering 30 and 60-minute time slots for your ministry or podcast. For more information on how you can become a part of KTAV Station of Inspiration lineup, please call 619-246-6131 or visit us online at ktav.tv/ministry.
Hey everybody, this is Reverend Shane Harris. Every Friday I hold a live radio show at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.ktav.tv. The show is called Get On Up with Reverend Shane Harris, and we discuss all of the country's issues. From Washington, D.C. to your local community, social dialogue, political impact, and strategy talk. For all of our communities to realize that we don't have to get down. We got to get up and know what we doing. So it's strategy time. Every Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Get On Up with Reverend Shane Harris on KTAV.TV.
You are listening to the San Diego station of inspiration. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. KTAV Radio. For more information on how you can advertise your business, event, or services, please visit us online at ktav.tv or call 619-246-6131. 6131. We are also offering 30 and 60-minute time slots for your ministry or podcast. For more information on how you can become a part of KTAV Station of Inspiration lineup, please call 619-246-6131 or visit us online at ktav.tv/ministry.
Hey everybody, this is Reverend Shane Harris. Every Friday I hold a live radio show at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.ktav.tv. The show is called Get On Up with Reverend Shane Harris, and we discuss all of the country's issues from Washington, D.C. to your local community, social dialogue, political impact, and strategy talk for all of our communities to realize that we don't have to get down. We got to get up and know what we're doing. So it's strategy time every Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Get On Up with Reverend Shane Harris on KTAV.tv.
All right. It's good to be back here on Get On Up with Shane Harris. For those of you out there who are listening on KTAV.tv and across the country, and some of you who are listening on Facebook, it's good to be back here in the studio again. As I noted last week, I was out. I am on a kind of a hiatus vacation. I know y'all think that we ain't supposed to take vacations, but see, that's y'all's problem. And see, I ain't gonna let y'all kill me. I got things I'm trying to do in the future. So I am definitely on a vacation. I'll be off next week because I'm going to be out of town traveling again. But I want y'all to know that I am and I do take self-care. Y'all need to know that this is not, run Shane into the ground season. That's not happening. So I am taking some breaks here through this summer, and I'll be back on the ball. But we're not just vacationing. We're strategizing about what the next steps will be from this radio show and what we will push and how we will develop the show and bring it to a national platform. I am really having the important conversations and will keep you updated on where we are headed with that. But at this time, of course, as always, it is good to have my political analyst, Amos Jones from Washington, D.C., who is bringing us the real in-depth conversation around all that is going on, and we're going to talk about all of it. Good morning, Amos, Washington, D.C.
Good morning, Reverend Harris. Good morning, America.
And we can never tell where you are because you like to go from D.C. to Florida to Virginia to North Carolina. You kind of run the East Coast a lot. So I never could tell where you are unless you tell me.
Today it's downtown Washington, D.C.
As
usual. We are watching the national news and staying abreast of things, interacting, and really keeping an eye on the discrimination going on that seems to be just bubbling all out everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's been a really revealing week.
And let me tell you, I mean, and we're going to go to this, now because I think it's important that we really deal with this issue in depth. From Ms. Barr's statement, on ABC all the way to what we're seeing and the discrimination talked about in the Starbucks incident that MSNBC did a full-blown town hall about, and what was said about Valerie Jarrett was egregious. Let's begin there because You have been studying this for a long time. You've been, you are a professor who has taught many students. You are very deemed. One of the things you know very well is you know about the education, a lot of the education of this the former administration, the Obama administration. You studied Obama's, process of education from Harvard Law all the way to, all that he did. And then, Valerie Jarrett, who is steeped in education and a real strong voice in this country. She's not public, but she's private, but she's very powerful. Talk a little bit about, Amos, as we begin this conversation, what your thoughts were in regards to Roseanne's tweet about Valerie Jarrett. I'm gonna go to that tweet because I want to make sure that we get it right, in regards to what exactly she said. But it was egregious what she said in basically calling Valerie Jarrett a monkey, or deeming that she looked like it. Here's what the tweet read, and we're going to pull it up here. Here it is here. In response to the tweet that called the former Obama administration advisor. Now, we all know Valerie Jarrett, and she was and has been a very, very, very strategic woman, and who was really the prime organizer and facilitator of advising former President Obama. Roseanne tweeted that she was a product of the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes. What are your thoughts about this kind of rhetoric going around? And first of all, I don't know how much you've studied. I know you know Valerie Jarrett, and I don't know how much you've studied about her history. But what are your thoughts about what was said about Valerie Jarrett the other day?
Well, clearly it was racially discriminatory. There's a long history of black people being compared to animals, especially primates. And it does not matter what education she has. It does not matter her deportment. It does not matter her pedigree. If you are black, you will be subject to racial discrimination, and you will be equated to an animal at times. This has happened so frequently. 18 years ago at Emory University in Atlanta, a group of Oxford College. Oxford is the junior college connected to Emory near Covington, Georgia. Some students out there did not like some of the demonstrations that we were having on the main campus after a white member of a white fraternity was photographed in the yearbook in blackface. And so that was controversial. And I was in charge with 5 other students of bringing that group to justice for that racism. And we brought in the Reverend Al Sharpton in the final analysis. And some of the white students out at Oxford College then created a webpage and depicted my entire African-American family as monkeys. This just happened at Campbell University. They're high up in the building. A black person was referred to as a monkey. And thank God there were witnesses, and there's an investigation of that going on, a federal investigation, and the EEOC in Raleigh should be bringing charges over that. Dr. Gregory Parks of Wake Forest University, who has a doctorate in psychology and a law degree from Cornell and a law license, he's the associate dean, I think, of research and faculty development, a distinguished African-American scholar, has a new article about how whites in law schools, of all places, students and others have a tendency to equate black people to primates or monkeys. So it does not matter The question is, do they keep doing it? And if they don't want you around, if you're at a law school where, if the EEOC doesn't understand that calling black people monkeys is not objectionable, if they're that ignorant, maybe they need to get out of the business of enforcing. Maybe Campbell University Law School needs to go all white, like the tenured faculty has been for all these many years, which they're fighting to keep it that way in D.C., the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. In my case, I invited Gina Calabro, the attorney at Ogletree Deakins law firm, on today to call in about this, and I didn't get an answer. People hide a lot. I don't know what's going on, but I do know that I'm going after this in a big way. We're going to make a big deal because Roseanne's just the beginning. This happens in the law school at Campbell University. The EEOC is investigating right now. They have an expert report about this. Dr. Gregory Parks's article is out. So maybe black people just need to be separated. Maybe black people, since White Campbell and these other places want to treat us differently and view us as monkeys and defend it. I wish that somebody would call in for a change and explain the white misconduct. Maybe we need to do a Starbucks. Maybe these institutions that operate this way, these law firms, Ogletree Deakins law firm is in a multi-million-dollar gender discrimination lawsuit allegedly paying women. These are white women largely. Women partners being paid. Like class action lawsuit, as I recall, in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well,
we need to learn.
Yeah.
We need to repent. These people need to repent. And we're going to call names. We're going to be calling a lot of names going forward. And we're going to the church. We're going to pick it at somebody's church. People are playing with God.
Oh, yeah.
That's what racism is, because when you go up to those pearly gates and you've been defending all this discrimination and talking with the forked tongue, acting like you're for diversity, but you don't hire black professors and you flush them and you fight in court to keep it white, guess what God says at the pearly gates? He says, "Go to hell, I never knew you." And I would say, "Get thee behind me, Satan." And that's what happened to Roseanne. She was flushed. It needs to happen more.
And people forget, this is, like you said, this has been going on. This is not something that just popped up last week. And so there's got to be a real conversation moving forward. Her ex-husband, spoke on CNN, I believe, last night about this. Let's listen to what he had to say.
I just know, when I heard about her politics, I knew she was when I read her social media in the very beginning, and I saw how she was so into the conspiracy stuff with Donald Trump, and so how far gone she was, and the Pizzagate, and Hillary's a pedophile, and Obama wasn't born here, and she was, a birther, and how crazy that was. I just knew that this would not end well.
So were you surprised then that ABC chose to bring it back? Because obviously they saw those tweets as well.
Right. I was surprised that they didn't do anything about it. In fact, I tweeted a lot because, I figured someone would take her phone away or monitor that, because it's dangerous, when you have that much money on a show. It's we had the First Amendment, we also have the Second Amendment, but you don't just give someone a handgun to walk around the stage there. You got to, hopefully you don't. You got to be careful. They risked a lot. And I tweeted a lot to watch out, because I could see it coming, because she, has a lot of, by the way, this monkey thing is something she's tweeted before about black people. Why is it okay? It's a meme that she and thousands of her alt-right fans do. They love calling black people monkeys. It's not a one-time joke. Okay.
Yeah, she said something about Susan Rice a couple of years ago, referencing.
Well, no, but there's more. Look on her tweet. They do it because we have a white trash racist president. That's a fact. That is, Donald Trump is, and Roseanne and I both known in 30 years. That's an absolute fact. And instead of saying Donald Trump going, "Okay, everybody, hold on together," he says, "Oh my gosh, what about me?" That's insane. That he's like, well, what about people making fun of me?
So Amos, you have heard what was said. Why is it okay for this president to think that these kind of statements, are okay, and then only go to himself in the whole situation? What about me?
Well, what we have is, of course, with President Trump, it always goes back to President Trump. And he is going to capitalize in some way and shore up the base. You know, that's Michael Eric Dyson was on and was excellent after the Roseanne controversy, and was pointing out on MSNBC how we really would look to an ordinary president to appeal to our better angels. Even President Bush after Katrina, which was not a racism, it wasn't like this. It wasn't a controversy. The handling of it was controversial, but you know, you look for the president to be a uniter, if you will, and that's just not Donald Trump's formula. And people will not excuse him either. People come down on him very hard for what they believe to be fanning the flames, and maybe even underestimating Americans' tolerance for bigotry. And that's what's interesting. I think that Americans have become mostly intolerant of bigotry. And that's why it's such a shame that our most elite sectors engage in bigotry. Imagine a law school like Denver Law School that I've mentioned on your program. They finally settled for $2.7 million discriminating against women. That's bigotry. They were paying women less, and they're paying out the money, and they're in a compliance program, and they're still declaring that they don't discriminate against women. The hard-heartedness of these people to beat down women, white women, this is white-on-white bigotry. And so you know, if the white women are abused, what's going to happen to the rest of us? Now, to be fair, one of the professors out there who intervened in that suit that the government brought against Denver Law, it was a black woman. So, but it's largely a white thing. You know, these law faculties like Campbell University, it's a white tenure thing. It's for whites. Those jobs are for whites. So this is where we are. So we want to pretend that Donald Trump is playing to people who are like the Connor family on the Roseanne show, when in fact at the higher levels, it's the high levels where these principalities who are really running all of this. And that's why some of the people on the black left have criticized Starbucks for having their day off for diversity and sensitivity awareness lessons. It's viewed by some with skepticism as not enough, not sufficient, not... Now, I think it's a direct step in the right direction.
Now on MSNBC held a town hall about 2 days ago, Everyday Racism in America, and this town hall drew many. Roseanne Barr's statement brought much viewership to this town hall because Valerie Jarrett was there. And here's what Valerie Jarrett had to say in response to Roseanne Barr.
I apologize to Valerie Jarrett and to all the Americans. I'm truly sorry for making a bad joke about her politics and her looks. I should have known better. Forgive me. My joke was in poor taste.
Hours later, ABC canceled her show, saying Roseanne's comments were, quote, abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent with our values. You think they did the right thing?
I do, and I want to mention that Bob Iger, who's the CEO of Disney, called me before the announcement. He apologized. He said that he had zero tolerance for that sort of racist, bigoted comment, and he wanted me to know before he made it public that he was canceling his show. And so I appreciate that they did that so swiftly.
And Rev, you have been in the middle of these kind of controversies before. People remember the Don Imus situation. You're often, called upon to sort of talk to, corporations and industry, people when they find themselves in this situation. Do you think ABC did the right thing?
Oh, they did the right thing, and I think it is important, the statement they made, because what I think we're dealing with is those that are still trying to turn us back into a day that is considered normal. And I think we can't get away from the fact, if it starts raining, you look for clouds. The clouds that have been put over this country to try and bring us back to where this is normal, to take a well-educated, beautiful woman like Valerie Jarrett, which they did similar to Michelle Obama and President Obama, and equate them with monkeys, is not acceptable, and we cannot tolerate it. When you have a president that started his political career on birtherism, saying that he's not one of
So you hear that clearly, Amos, and Valerie responds in thanks to ABC's Bob Iger, who owns ABC. Did you think that ABC made the right choice, and does it stop there, or should there be continuing conversation around ABC and sort of where they go from here?
Well, I'm not going to defend calling black people monkeys. It's happened to me. And let me thank the good white people at Emory, including now Dr. Lee Simmons, who got after people at Oxford and told them, you don't refer to black people as monkeys. If you wanted to prove your case that you weren't racist and that this movement that these folks have is unfounded, you didn't help yourself by doing this. So, you need people to step in, but I'm not sure that canceling the show so quickly was the way to go. I believe that program was a fine program. I watched it in its first run more than 20 years ago. And, my expectation was that it was it would be very popular, and it was. People haven't gotten those ratings in ages. I think it had been 20 years or something since ABC had the #1 program of that genre. So why would we keep her on? Well, because she's a crass, almost crude. Wait.
We shouldn't keep her on to keep the show going. There's many avenues to go to keep that show going.
Oh, I see. You could remember the show is called Roseanne. And the other thing Roseanne has done, we don't want to forget, Roseanne did that awfully unpatriotic rendition of the national anthem years ago. And then I think she did something vulgar at the end, I believe. And it was extremely controversial. And she disrespected the entire country at that baseball game. And
she's got a long history, though, of making racism, but she's got a long history of racist comments.
Right, she's all around, but they brought her on. The black woman hired her. See, I love these African Americans who pretend that they're so about justice, and they're not, because that black woman at ABC who fired her is the one who hired her in the first place and promoted the idea of a working-class, diverse family, and yet we didn't have.
Yeah, but
we didn't have it for a hot minute.
I mean, here's the controversy around it, though. They should have dropped this way before this situation occurred, because she was making comments all along. And
it's sort of like Don Imus.
Yeah.
This was, I think, the straw that broke the camel's back. So as I said, I'm not going to defend blacks to monkeys.
And we all
in fact, I condemn it in the strongest terms. I have federal charges about it.
And we all should be happy that Don Imus is off. There's just things that are
absolutely, I agree,
inexcusable.
But the deeper question, though, is why do we have what Lonnie Guinier correctly says we really view so many of these constituencies as throwaway people? If you look at the television, there's no accurate depiction of black life in America. We don't have a depiction. We depict the top 9.9% in everything all the time. So part of my pushback is almost a poor people's campaign type pushback here. I'm not going to jump out and rally to keep Roseanne on the air, but we need to look at what's really going on here. And why are we pimping out white working class people and then getting rid of it when they're acting out in person, perhaps, things that other people feel. I think that, I'm not saying leave it on, Shane. I'm just saying that there's a lot more going on here, and we scapegoat too easily. I'm fighting a case.
Well, yeah, Amos, look at
was called a monkey in a dean suite, and we're jumping up and down, and I guess should be over her at Roseanne.
Yeah, well, we are, because this is the ratings on this show are sky high. So of course people are going to be drawn automatically and know about this situation because this show has very, very, very high ratings. But also we have to look at the fact that Starbucks, people jumped down Starbucks' throat. But forget, this is the Philadelphia Police Department that arrested these two gentlemen. So
Right.
You know, there's distractions all over the place, and this is why, as we end the show today, people need to understand, and you know, we had to have this conversation. People need to understand that you can't get distracted. You know, this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
And
this should be a catalyst. I think these are very important conversations, and they're valid in deliberations. I just wish that we at some point could take it home and say, so what do you do in an all-white law environment when a white person calls a black person in their face a monkey in front of black employee witnesses? What should be done there? And the EEOC in Raleigh is looking at this. And they have to think about whether they've got the academic material on black people and monkeys. Who's behind this? Who's behind an EEOC that doesn't know what to do? Who's behind these decisions? And how do they affect those of us who have jobs or had jobs where we spend all of our time? Why is there a hostile environment all over the place? And we understand it and what to do when it comes to Roseanne, but we don't dismiss other people. We don't bring charges of the EEOC immediately. What's wrong with us? Why do we? Well, I think we want it that way. I think that some people have decided we want to keep black people disempowered.
Yeah.
We want them to know that you don't have any recourse, that you are nothing. We don't have to promote you. We don't have to hire you. We'll hire an all-white law firm and do the same thing pretty much all white. And that's the way we're going to do this. And you better sit down and shut up and take it like a monkey.
Well,
that's the prevailing view. And so really, I want to know, so we cancel Roseanne, but what about all these other organizations? Did they fire the white people at Starbucks who called the cops?
And to your point, this is what Valerie Jarrett said, you know, on MSNBC's Town Hall. To your point, she said, you know, I'm known and I have a following and I have, you know, all of these friends and support. But what about the people who don't have this support? What about the people who aren't Valerie Jarrett? What about the people who do not have the name and the stature in this country to fight or the ammunition? What about those people? And that's what I want to lead the show today on. You know, we see all this going on with the president. We see racism across America. But what about the people who don't have the viewers of the support or the people of stature to come to their aid and fight for them? What are we doing to make a difference in our communities? And how are we attacking some of these issues is the real question that we need to think about. Hey, Miss, a lot going on from North Korea and Trump holding summits there to trying to the Trump summit with North Korea all the way to these statements and then on to obviously the consistent issues across this country and race. You don't know what's flying off the handle every week. We have very important midterms coming up. June 5th next week here in California is a big day. Election-wise, many people will vote. We have big races going on across the counties in this state of California, the largest state in the country in population. Amos, what are your final words of thought as we go into this next week? What do you foresee from international world relations to America? Where are we headed?
Well, for one thing, we're going to see, keep an eye on the Supreme Court. I think there are roughly 30 big cases that have not been, whose opinions of the court for which have not been delivered. That is something to watch. We're including the Master Cake Shop case, which places conscience and liberty that way against LGBT issues of civil rights interest to many people. That's an important, and religious rights as well. So that's, I think, where most of the movement's going to be in the news over the next few weeks. I don't know what's going to happen with the North Korea summit. I have a feeling it's going to go on as pretty much as planned. I think that would be a good thing for everybody. And so we'll just keep an eye on that. And also the political upheaval with all these Republicans retiring from the House and these midterm elections coming and the Mueller probe. Lots of things coming out. And Friday afternoons and evenings, it seems like, tend to be the big days for news on the Mueller probe. So watch the news tonight and see what comes out between about 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Amos, my generation don't watch the news on Friday night. We go party.
Well, I know that you're in California, so 5 p.m. is 2 p.m. It's 2 p.m., Reverend. Let's do the conversion.
My generation don't watch the news. We go to ice cream shops and go party, and we do this and we do that. And we sit on our phones. I got this thing, Amos. I don't know if it's a 20-year-old thing to do, whatever, but I drive up in my driveway and I just sit there and text, and I just sit there and look on my phone, and I will sit in my driveway for hours without going inside. I'm at home.
Yes.
But I'll sit there on my phone, twiddling my thumbs in my driveway.
I mean, you have a whole world in your hands these days with these phones. And, and adults are doing it. Boomers are into it, and they're remarkable. So you're being productive, and I respect them.
Well, wait a minute. That's not being productive. That's just being outright lazy. I'll drive up in my driveway and sit there playing with my phone because I don't want to get up.
Oh, see, I thought you were actually conducting the business of civil rights enforcement.
No.
And sending messages about issues and advocacy on the phone, appellate arguments through the phone.
No. I'm playing games, Connect Four, and all these things.
See, I can't go along with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
just
you're right.
in,
that is a problem.
Just sitting in the driveway on my phone. That's just that's just unnecessary.
Well, then, yes, we need to break that idleness. But you're going 24/7, so you work hard. I've followed you around out there, and you're doing big stuff all the time. You got to have some downtime. I'm learning that as much as I enjoy my work and I enjoy fighting the good fight, and I fight hard, you do need to sit back and relax at times,
and you
be
gotta
with
have
friends and family and church and. Yeah. A church. I love my church community at Shiloh Baptist Church of Washington, D.C. We have a social justice ministry. We have a wonderful senior pastor. We have a wonderful congregation of black people who stand with me. And they support me, and I support them, because there's a whole lot of racism we have to tear down. I just so wish that these folks would have called in today and answered for the discrimination that they're defending around the country. But maybe one day people will, have some courage.
People that are opposed to the liberal side, they don't call in to get on up with Shane Harris. It's only the people that are speaking out, and we need both sides. We need controversy. We need people.
Well, you'd be surprised at how liberal some of these active discriminators are. I mean, that's what I agree. I'll give you my lawsuit papers, and you'll see just how the liberal people, so many of them are just liberal on out of, as long as it's not a Negro involved.
Right.
Liberality is good, but see, racism.
Right.
Racism knows no label of ideology.
Well, and that's why we need to be aware, and we need to be woke. Thank you, Amos Jones. Thank y'all for watching on Facebook and YouTube, and thank you for listening on KTAV.TV. Remember, whatever you do, however you do it, beat them in Connect 4. Whatever you do, I'm going to beat some people in Connect 4 all summer long. That is my aspiration. All right. Thank y'all for listening on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week or in the next few weeks. And all of you who are listening online,